Once upon a time, in a world where the shadow of demons weighed heavily on every land, 4 companions set out on a 10-year journey. Himmel, the human hero whose smile gave courage to all. Heider, the calm and gentle priest. Eisen, the short but unshakable warrior with his massive axe. And Frieren, the elven mage for whom time flowed endlessly, like an ever-breathing wind. For 10 long years, they fought side by side, climbing mountains, crossing valleys, and liberating villages from nightmares. At the end of their path stood the Demon King's fortress. The battle was fierce, but together they triumphed. The world was saved, and the people cheered their names. But every victory has its night of farewell. Under a sky ablaze with meteors, a rare celestial shower that appears only once every 50 years, Frieren said softly, "50 years from now, let's meet here again." For a human, 50 years is a lifetime. For Frieren, it was nothing more than the blink of an eye. Time passed as lightly as a breeze for her, but when Frieren returned to the capital, everything had changed. Streets were rebuilt, faces were new, and her friends, they were old. Himmel's hair had turned white, his face lined and weary. Heider leaned on a cane. Eisen's back had grown bent. They climbed once more to see the shower of falling stars. The same sky, the same light, but when dawn came, Himmel was gone forever. At his grave, Frieren felt something break inside her. For the first time, she realized the weight of time. She had shared a decade with Himmel, yet she knew so little about him, what he loved, what he feared, what made him smile. Regret settled into her heart like a heavy stone. Not long after, Frieren visited Heider. The priest, frail and fading, smiled as he placed a young orphan girl in Frieren's care, Fren. "She has a gift for magic," he said. "Take care of her." Frieren hesitated. Human lives were so short. Why tie herself to another fragile flame? But when Heider too passed away, Fren clung to Frieren with tearful eyes. And Frieren, quietly, said, "Come with me. From now on, we'll travel together." Thus began Frieren's second journey, not to defeat the Demon King, but to understand humans, to grasp the meaning of their brief yet precious lives. Along the way, they encountered Stark, Eisen's pupil, a clumsy boy haunted by fear. His village trembled under the shadow of the solar dragon. Everyone thought Stark was a coward, but in truth, the dragon feared him. With Fren and Frieren's encouragement, Stark faced his fear. He shook, he faltered, but he chose to fight, and that choice saved the village. From then on, their journey was shared by 3: the timeless mage, her earnest pupil, and the boy who learned courage through fear. They traveled from town to town, facing remnants of demons and echoes of darkness, but the journey was not only battles. It was birthdays and laughter, petty quarrels and reconciliations, the warmth of fresh bread, and statues of Himmel standing in village squares. Frieren would pause before those statues and whisper, "Why didn't I ever ask about that pose?" Fren once asked, "Are you crying, master?" Frieren answered only with silence, but her silence was no longer cold, it was gentle. In one northern city, they crossed paths with Aura the Guillotine, one of the surviving 7 sages of destruction. Aura's power was terrifying, scales that measured mana, forcing the weaker to obey her will. For centuries, she had raised armies, executing all who defied her. But Frieren had trained herself for ages in suppressing her mana, a skill passed down from her human teacher, Flam. To Aura's scales, she appeared weak. And when Aura commanded her to kneel, Frieren released her true mana. The scales tipped violently in her favor. Calmly, she turned away and said, "Give yourself the order, end it." Aura, bound by her own spell, perished. The city was saved. In their northern march, they were joined for a time by Sane, a priest searching for his lost friend. Gentle and steady, he brought balance to their group. But in the end, his heart led him back to his own path, and the 3 continued alone. Their destination became Oisurst, the northern branch of the Continental Magic Association. To cross further north, Fern needed higher certification. Thus began the first-class mage exam. The exam was brutal, split into stages. In the first, teams of 3 were tasked with capturing the elusive bird Stille in the Grobe Basin. Fern and Frieren found themselves in different teams, each forced to trust strangers and navigate treachery. Through focus and cooperation, they both passed. Later trials tested not only magic, but judgment, trust, and restraint. At the final stage appeared Ciri, the ancient elf who had once taught Flam. To Serie, magic was pure power, stripped of sentiment. To Frieren, after Himmel's death, magic had become something else, a way to connect with people. Ciri acknowledged Fern's brilliance and granted her advancement. But Frieren? Ciri banned her from the association's facilities for 1,000 years. Frieren merely shrugged. That's fine. Our path doesn't go through buildings anyway. Beyond bureaucracy lay the true goal, Aureole, the resting place of souls. Legend said that there, one could speak words left unsaid to the departed. For Frieren, it meant one thing, a chance to finally say goodbye to Himmel. Through every village, every night by the fire, Frieren learned. Fern, diligent and gifted, carried her teachings forward. Stark, once trembling, grew into strength. And Frieren, who had lived for centuries, finally began to understand that immortality is not measured in years, but in the moments you share and the traces you leave behind. When Fern leaned against her shoulder in sleep, or when Stark made clumsy jokes, Frieren smiled. These fleeting instants, she realized, were more valuable than centuries of solitude. And so they journeyed on, northward, toward snow and storms, toward Aureole, toward the place where Frieren might whisper, at last, I should have asked about the flowers you loved. I should have listened more. Or perhaps only, hello, I'm here. For an elf, 50 years is a blink, but for saying I love you, even if it's late, sometimes a blink is enough.